Good morning. You're hearing me. Good morning. Welcome back. I think the control room is just still stand by Super Blue. 13 before 8 o'clock. Happy Valentine's Day, Trinidad and Tobago. After that inspirational story with Super Blue, really a story about hope and redemption and overcoming challenges. Because it's Valentine's Day, we thought it would be apropos to welcome an inspirational person herself, a life coach, motivational speaker, a success coach. She is a Trinbagonian by lineage, born in New York. Good morning to Jeselle Eli. Good morning. And she was just jumping up there. Fantastic Friday.
Never stop.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We were talking during the break. I mean, being a life coach and talking people through or coaching them through their difficulties, because all lives have difficulties.
Yes.
Some will be more public because he's a public person, but everybody's life has its challenges. How does that story resonate with you?
With me, it resonates because, I mean, let's go public with it. Some of the things that he's been through, I've been through myself. So I know what it's like to get over some of those, like, really deep, dark places. And not enough people are public with their story. And, you know, it's important for others to hear that, because so many of us are going through problems with drugs, with abuse, you know, violence, and we don't have anyone to turn to. And it's through this music that we get uplifted and we hear that and we're like, you know what, I'm not alone. I can get through this too, and let me pick myself up and celebrate with other people who have come through it.
If you can share with us, what was your challenge?
My challenge was drugs. Yeah, a very, very similar story with his. My challenge was drugs for a few years, but with a really hard drug for about 5 to 6 months.
And
yes.
What was that journey like, finding yourself in the middle of that and deciding at some point, you know, this is going to either be the death of me or the savior of me?
Well, it was God that saved me. Yeah, it was. I remember very clearly. It was. I was introduced to. I was smoking crack. I mean, this was not expected, but you know, it's an important story because we're talking about overcoming things. I was in a room with so much crack and coke and drugs and this, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's party time. This is amazing. Let's get down. But something came over me, and that was God that just came and took my body.
In the middle of all of that?
In the middle of all of that. It's like, you know, in my mind, I was ready to party, but in my body, he just walked me out, took me to my room, grabbed my bag, and took me. I was in Boston, Massachusetts, in college at the time, and he just took me and put me on a bus, took me to New York, called an ambulance, and asked for help, you know, and I got myself into a hospital.
What was the journey back like, and how is that impacting your now being able to help others through difficult times?
Well, the journey back, for one thing, finding laughter and finding humor in the situation and making things lighter, because of that I've had my own repercussions, which I'm dealing with and overcoming, which is why I do what I do. And being able to work with coaches to help me sort myself out so I don't get stuck in these holes again has enabled me to now take that and help other people. I never thought I wanted to be a life coach. But then all of a sudden, I'm like, all of these things I'm doing with myself so that I can be stronger and I can be more powerful and encouraging and love myself more. I need to be sharing this. It would be wrong if I didn't share it with other people.
What was at the core of you getting into that? Because part of the rehabilitative restorative process is finding out what the void was, what caused the void, so that you can fill it, I guess, with other things, more positive things. For
me, it was having a dream and sticking to it. Because oftentimes when you do go through a depression or a hole or, you know, this time when you're stuck, you give up on the dream. You think that it's not possible anymore because you're going through this really slow period of time. But when that dream is inside of you and you have this fire in your gut and this passion to really make that happen, it never dies. You know, it never dies, and it will always kind of fuel you to say, you know what, give it another chance, don't give up.
On a day like today, I mean, people celebrating Valentine's Day, love all over the world, but there are people who are so broken, so lonely, so hurting, you know, they're in pain for different reasons, and walking around smiling, but inside really, really broken. What do you tell someone like that on a day like today?
On a day like today, someone like that needs somebody else, and not just today, but any day. They need somebody that they are going to get positive vibes from, not someone that's going to feed the seed in them that's like really sad and down and broken. It's important to get mentors and other people in your life that are uplifting so that you can have conversations with them so you don't feel in this kind of funk, you know, this really nasty place. And I also think it's important for them to take time to reflect and ask themselves questions. There's nothing wrong with talking to yourself. You know,
I talk to myself all the time.
Every day. You know, you have to ask yourself questions, and you ask yourself better questions. If you ask myself, well, why do I feel so bad today? Well, then of course you're going to get an answer, I feel bad because. But if you ask yourself a different question, why should I be grateful that I'm alive today? Get a different answer.
But is it bad to ask yourself the questions, the tough questions?
No.
And how do you deal with the answers? That's because you can't hide from yourself. You may be able to fool people outside with a smile or with a laughter, but do you think everyone is equipped to deal with the answers that may come from those tough questions when they ask themselves, why I feel like this today?
No, not everybody's equipped to feel, to you know, deal with their own pain. And I think that's why we need to be okay to ask for help. People don't ask enough for help, and we should feel comfortable to ask for help and be clear about the help you need. Maybe you need psychological help, maybe you just need financial help, maybe you need help by, you know, having a partner to walk with you somewhere, to be there with you, to make a decision, to go with you, to run an errand. Whatever you need help with, know what it is before you ask, and then ask the right person so that you're getting someone that can actually give you what you need.
I'm glad you said that. How important is it that people need to really get this, to surround yourself with positive people? And very often people don't realize that there are negative people around them, literally sucking the life out of them, literally fueling their despair and their depression, and they don't realize it. Even sometimes family members.
Family members. I like to call those...
Why did you do that? I took you someplace there.
You took me someplace there because for me, for such a long time, I felt like I was living my life to make my family happy. And then it just had to click and say, you know what, this is my life. And not to say one day you're not going to be there, but one day you're not. And who am I going to be living for, you or for myself? When you're no longer there, am I going to be sad and upset that I didn't live out my dreams because now I'm living yours? Who's really happy at the end of it? You know, at the end of the day, a family really wants to see you happy. So if you're happy doing what you love to do, that will then transfer to them. And that's about surrounding yourself with the people with good energy. You know, because all of this is transference. You know, there's vibration, there's energy, there's emotions, and it transfers to another. So I call them energy vampires, because if you're around these people that are sad and they're mopey, well then you start to
complaining all the time and never grateful for anything.
Never grateful. Well then you return the favor. You say, oh well, this one it never works out. So and this doesn't work out. So I know that never works out. But if you know what, today was amazing because that happened. Well, then you can reflect on that and say, you're right, this did happen and so did this. And you just start building on each other and the energy spreads. You know, it's a happiness
How does
effect.
one find one's purpose in life? Because not having purpose means you may not have hopes or dreams.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's a really great question. And I think that sometimes, more often than not, we find purpose in tragedy, because it's those turning points to you or to loved ones that you have that it really wakes up and it says, you know what, this is something I need to wake up and be a part of. Like, for example, Super Blue's story. If I hadn't have gone through something similar to him, I probably wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing what I do, because something happened to me that said, you know what, I've got to now take this into my life. Even though it's not my everyday life, I've got to give back and live that way.
Jeselle, thank you for being with us. This is the start of a longer conversation.
It is.
Happy Valentine's to you.
Thank you.
And you're such a lightheart. That's our show for today. Happy Valentine's, Trinidad and Tobago. We appreciate you being with us. Be good to yourself, love someone, and definitely love yourself. We'll leave with a bit of music to brighten your day today. Bye-bye. What you want?
I can't hold it much longer. It's getting stronger and stronger. And when I get that feeling, I want sex.